Hello everyone, it's Isabella here and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, as you guys can tell, first of all, just took my makeup off, I put my glasses on because I wanted to be a little bit more relaxed. But today, grab a snack, grab a drink, hang out with me because we're going to be reacting to a Zoom training. So we'll be diving into the training and pretty much go through and debunk it. So before we hop into today's video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell button down below. My merch, which you guys should definitely check out, it's adorable. Podcast and blog channel, all the goods will be down in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Yay! Hi guys, the Freedom Movement and GrowCo. I'm so excited to do this collab with you guys and just kind of share some Q&As and everything. Hopefully you guys all know who the Freedom Movement is. If you guys don't, they came here, I think you guys came in March, right? And have really just taken this company by storm. They've been killing it. And so I really wanted to pick their brains. I know for us GrowCo, it's been around for 2 years now, since like literally a month after Britt joined. And so I hope that we can definitely help give some advice, answer some questions as well, and just kind of give a variety of, answers for y'all. So anyways, I want to kind of just dive straight in. We're going to do it Q&A style. We, as leaders, established some questions that we really think are going to be helpful for our team to have answers to. If you guys have any questions and we have time at the end, please add them in the chat or just write them down and make sure before we close out, you have them in the chat so we can get them answered. But kind of jumping into it, I know mentality is just everything in this business that goes through ebbs and flows. In network marketing that has been here more than a few months knows that it can make or break you having that right mentality. And so y'all have been in the industry for some time. I know quite a few of you. What is the hardest thing you had to overcome in business and how did you do it? Freedom Movement, I forget who's answering each of them.
Yeah, I think I'll answer this one. So I'm Liz Davis, and I definitely think that when you get into those difficult moments, slow moments in your business, not diminishing the strength of your why that you feel so strongly about when you first start doing the business, and there's a reason that you are spending all this time on.
Okay, let's pause this real quickly because I think this is something we should talk about more is the why story. Everyone really likes to sit on the why, and I think this again is something that many of us can relate to, this feeling and connection to something, and we keep going back to it, right? So when it comes to starting an MLM or starting even anything new for that matter, it's what I like to call the MLM high. It's the very beginning of it where you get so excited, it's all this emotion. There's just, and again, everyone's usually when they start off in the MLM, and if you're moving with the team specifically, usually the popping off happens. More people from different teams and leadership will acknowledge you. There's a lot happening at the very beginning. Whereas after a while, things are doing well, the statistics are not lying, so of course they're following the same pattern and you're not doing so good, all of a sudden it starts to dwindle and disappear. And that's kind of, to me, from my personal experience, I can compare that to a toxic relationship I had where at the beginning, I thought everything was fine. Like that was the best thing for me. And I thought that that was healthy. And then after it started losing its sparkle, I started feeling drained, miserable, and I started questioning everything. And then of course, because many times I feel like especially in the MLM world and also in some aspects of certain relationships, you kind of go back to that, oh, but they used to be like this. Oh, but it used to be really nice. It used to be fun. It used to be great. And so we kind of, that mentality is kept up when it comes to the MLM because she's talking about, well, don't forget your why. Most of the time when people join, their why is, well, shit, I'm not financially free. I'm really struggling. I can't afford gas. I can't afford the light bill now. That's my why. And so people sit there and think, okay, I need to not back down on my why because I'm becoming a failure. But what really usually happens though is when they don't back down, and they keep going, they literally still are in that same cycle, but it's like they feel too guilty to quit. And so the cycle keeps going and they keep teaching themselves, and especially with these trainings, teaching themselves, hey, actually it's fine. Because for example, if I was someone that was questioning the business and if I sat in on a call like this, and if this individual was saying, hey, don't forget your why, it would be an additional reminder of, oh yeah, I can't forget that. I can't let it go because I'm being a failure and not being good enough for my family or my kids or supporting them enough financially if I give up on this, and that's not okay. And it leads to where people can either be emotionally drained, they could potentially lose more money than what they already have, and just there's many other things that are connected to this. So the why is so strong because it's trying to milk that first emotional high that you get from starting something new like this because they don't want you to forget.
On Zoom calls and, sacrificing time with your family to grow your business. And when it gets hard, I have found myself like justifying why, like, maybe it's not for me, or, maybe I am meant to work corporate my whole life or whatever. So this was a big thing that I dealt with when I was with my previous company, but also not getting into the comparison game, not
She's even sitting here talking about she's had those thoughts of, man, maybe I was meant for the corporate life. And you know what really breaks my heart is so many times I run into companies, and all of us watch this, where we see people like pretty much either knowingly or unknowingly shitting on corporate America jobs. And again, don't get me wrong, two things can exist at the same time. There are many different corporate jobs that are not providing enough for people. And of course, that's a huge issue that we need to talk about as well. But what I will say though is dogging on it entirely is so weird, and it makes people feel like a failure for doing that. And I hate when people talk about you're mediocre if you do a 9 to 5. I don't like that. There is nothing wrong with doing what you love. There is nothing wrong with finding security. There is nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. And so I feel like this stuff is, again, training some type of anxiety, making you feel bad for quitting, making you feel bad for even questioning. And the thing is you should critically think about everything. You should. Even for me, for example, if I have someone counter me with MLM arguments, I have to sit back and critically think about those, because I need to acknowledge when something is true, because you need to critically think and question things, because you don't want to just blindly follow absolutely everything. And that's really significant. And of course, I acknowledge when things are right in MLMs. Of course, I want to acknowledge when they say something right, because that is a part of critically thinking and trying to process all the information properly. And this isn't allowing critical thinking at all.
People that you want to talk to about the business, but you start like making up stories in your head about like why this wouldn't be for them, or why they might say no to you. I think that from the mindset perspective has been my like biggest challenges for sure.
Yeah, I love it, Liz. Thanks, friend. And then Julia, I think you might be on now with baby. Are you Munchkin? You're good? Okay. I just asked like that first question kind of. So what is the hardest thing that you've really had to overcome in this business, and how did you do it?
Hey guys. So sorry, baby started crying at 9. I was like, no. Okay. So what did I have to overcome? One of the biggest things, most people, and me included, started this business super motivated, super excited, running, doing all the right things. And what happens to most of us is what happened to me. I tended to fall on the like losing motivation and kind of relying on my emotions and how I felt that day versus relying on discipline. So what I had to overcome was truly, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. What I had to overcome was saying to myself and really deciding to work my business with discipline and not work it through emotion. Because a lot of the time when you lose excitement, momentum, motivation from the beginning of your business, like when you first start, it's really discipline that's going to trump, the emotion. Like that day, today, hey, baby was, crying or like a lot, like, and I could have just been like, wow, I don't feel like working my business today. Right. And instead of actually like treating my business as something that's kind of like, whatever, I'll just do it when I can or when I feel like it, I had to switch and overcome that and say no.
Ooh, okay, I really feel for this mama here. I don't know if she's a high up leader. I know that a lot of these people, knowingly or unknowingly, are participating in this really messed up culture of MLMs. But what I gotta say is I feel for this mom though, because it's already, I don't have kids. I don't have kids at all. I don't have a slight idea about all that kind of stuff really. What I do know though is from the experiences that have been told to be my other mothers, that's a lot emotionally, physically, everything to take care of a child. And that looks like a young baby. I feel really bad for her because I don't even know what could be going. There's a billion things that could be going on with a baby because you have to take care of absolutely everything with a baby. And so the fact that she is talking here and sitting here as a mom, it looks like a newer mom with this baby. I don't know how many kids she has, but a newer mom sitting here thinking, well, when I feel like it, when I get time to it. you're a new mama that has a lot of responsibilities. And it really upsets me that somebody put her in that position to feel that that's normal behavior. And it really breaks my heart because I see there's other people with kids also. Like, this shouldn't be happening. And again, there's many aspects of our world that are not prioritizing mothers, like parents in general, not valuing making sure that the parents are okay, you know? But like, this is really sad because I'm seeing multiple kids on this call. I feel for that because this is adding to, and again, I have never been able to feel or experience that type of exhaustion that a mom is going to experience. But what I will say is that exhaustion on top of having to deal with an MLM, the addition of toxic positivity, so where it's essentially brainwashing you to think everything is normal and fine and you complaining is wrong and unhealthy. Like, oh my God.
Oh, like, I'm doing this business because of my, my future, my finances, like what I want for my daughter and what I want for our lives. And being able, me and Gabby say this all the time, like looking at our kid's face and saying like, hey, I worked hard for you. You deserve it. Like I can't imagine looking in her eyes in the future and saying like, sorry, but you weren't worth it. Like my emotion.
That's wrong. Now that's wrong. I feel like a lot of people on this call truly believe what they're saying. All I'm going to say is that's 100% inappropriate and not okay. Acting as if, oh, you quit the MLM and therefore you're looking at your kids and pretty much saying, oh, you weren't worth it. That's why I didn't continue on. That's not okay. That is not normal. But that mentality exists for a reason, meaning some leader, somebody voiced that thought. And now it's gotten into some sort of training. That is not normal. That is not healthy. That's really devastating. Like, that is so heartbreaking that this is a real conversation.
That day where I just didn't feel good enough to work this business to provide a better future for you. And so it is the discipline of doing it before you feel like doing it. Because usually what happens is that the action actually brings the emotion of happiness and actually making you feel like, wow, I feel good about this, versus waiting for you to feel good and then maybe putting in the action. It just doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the second question. And so this one is going to be to Cass. Same question to you guys. So what's the hardest thing that you guys had to overcome in business and how did you do it?
I know Liz answered this right before, baby. You hopped on. So thank you, Liz, for that. Just something, I think it's kind of similar for me. It's the comparison game. Like I said, my team kind of started literally a month after Brittany Hitch started. And so y'all know probably how freaking crazy that was. It was wild. And so I knew what this could do for me and my family, as well as so many others. But I saw a lot of people just in the process get held up by that comparison game and it destroy their business 100%. So they didn't even get the chance to really build something for their family. I knew I could either let it do the same for me or kind of.
Okay, so real quickly again, I just want to add, we're whipping out the chart, baby. We have two little red flags on here. So I personally think that we are representing so far in this Zoom call two specific characteristics when it comes to, I believe this is representative of a pyramid scheme just by what we are listening to. So for example, the very emotionally manipulative conversations talking about taking care of your children, not giving up. This is something that will help them and give them a better future. That's something that is kind of creating this false FOMO, and it's unrealistic and not true. The FTC made this chart and we're plopping it on there. The second one being just the extravagant claims about the company. So again, the top one, promoters making extravagant promises about your earning potential. That's completely false. And then promoters playing on your emotions or using high pressure sales tactics may say you'll lose the opportunity if you don't act now, discouraging you from taking time to study the company. It's essentially, again, ignoring the questioning, ignoring any sort of critical thinking, and say go, go, go. And then additionally, trying to make these promises about the future and what this can provide you, which is completely false. And again, I don't know how many different unique, new people might be on this call, or newer people might be on this call, but this is something that negatively impacts people.
Push through and find a way to do that. And so I found what works for me. I found what brings me joy in this business. And that's what I really focused on. I kept my head down and really plugged away. And so just know, y'all, we are highlighting the wins all the time, but there is so much else that goes on behind the scenes, people that are working for those ranks that don't get acknowledged on social media. And so keep plugging away, keep your head down, find the things that you enjoy in this business, and you'll be able to make it through. And come out on the other side. So long-term vision, baby, all the way. Okay. Question number 3, I have it pulled up somewhere I think
Rachel.
Yes, Rachel.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't worry.
I know y'all came in by storm. The way that you guys shared just like about your culture has created such an attraction, like via social media and everything. And so how do you guys create FOMO around the culture of your team specifically, not just the company?
Yeah, so I feel like we take advantage of every situation. Okay. And what I mean by that is even the smallest thing, like right now, we're all on a call, right? I tell the team constantly, like, get your phones out and post that a small clip of you being on this call. Why? Because little things like this adds up to that FOMO. People are questioning, like, who are all these people on this call? What are they up to? So every team call, right? If you see somebody on the team that ranked up, even if they're not your ambassador, even a welcome flyer, somebody just joined, post it on your stories. People are constantly going to be having that FOMO of, what are all these rank ups? What are all these promotions? What are all these people coming in and joining this business? And that is how you're going to be creating your FOMO. Same thing with events, right? And I say this to my girls and to my team, that even if there's community pictures or community, sorry to hear the baby, or community videos, right? And you're not in it, you can still post it on your stories, or you can still post it as, let's say, part of your reel. People are not going to look at it and be like, oh, but I don't see you there. They're going to look at it and be like, what is this? Why are all these people doing this? So keeping that FOMO, like posting every team call, the chats, the flyers, when we get paid, like, you know, like the team chats going off, all of this will create FOMO. And I feel like the minute that you don't do it, it's almost like killing your own FOMO. So continuing that is going to always keep, it's not going to dim your light, right? People are always going to be intrigued in, what is this? So I feel like we just take advantage of every situation, and our phones are like there, like we're ready for, if it's an event, if it's a meetup, if it's even meeting up with one of our girls at a coffee shop, we try to showcase everything. And that is how you will continue to have your FOMO. Okay.
I love it. Thank you. I know that I had a second part, I think. Any tips
Yes.
kind of starting to brand yourself?
So I can do a whole call on this, okay, but I'm gonna keep it short because branding for me is like everything. But I guess what I'll say is, you are your brand, right? So I want you guys to really ask yourself, like, what do you want to be known for, right? What do you want to be known for in Q, or, you know, on Instagram? Like, what do you want to be known for? What do you stand for? Okay, meaning what does your brand stand for? Because you are your brand. That's where your pillars are going to come in. And, you know, the other thing is, what does your brand look like? Okay, when you look at your Instagram, this all goes together. So what does your brand look like? What do you stand for? What do you want to be known for? Okay, when you can answer those questions, you'll have an idea of like, okay, this is what my Instagram needs to revolve around.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at my Instagram, my main thing there, when you go and you see it, is business and family. Like, that is what my brand revolves around. That is what my stories revolve around. That is what my reels revolve around. And the more you continue that pattern, that is how you're going to build a sustainable brand. And guys, when you build a brand, you build trust. When you build trust, you have it all. You can get an ambassador, you can get anybody to buy your products, but you got to build your brand for sure. Okay, so I hope that answered the question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So the next question, let me look it up real quick over here. Okay, so to the Girl Co, what strategy do you use other than attraction marketing to find new business partners or customers?
I think that's Mel.
Yeah, okay. So I would say we have a good portion of our people use social media to find new people. So like most people are pretty good at doing their warm market. But once you get out of that, we basically follow Kristen Wyatt's ABCs. So building relationships and finding people that relate in some way to you. So like, I have horses. I'm constantly looking at like horse people accounts and, you know, somebody that I could have a genuine conversation with. And then building a legitimate relationship with them. Like, obviously, if I'm going to work with them, I want it to be somebody that I can talk to, like, for real. And then, you know, just kind of going from there. Like, at some point you're going to make the invite, and there's nothing that says that you can't continue to build relationship after that invitation. I feel like so many people get caught up in like this is a make or break it moment for our relationship, and that's just not the case. So for me, it's definitely like clicking on posts that I would like and seeing who else liked those posts. That's a really good simple way to do it. Or Facebook groups that are common interests. So if you're in like a mom group or a hobby group or something like that, finding people that way as well. And also just like utilizing friends of friends, like asking for the referral, I think is another really good one.
I love that. And then we did have another question with my question.
Let's pause this real quickly. Let's picture L'Oreal. Okay, this is my blow dry spray that I use. It's wonderful. Love this stuff. Let's say L'Oreal, in order to build their clientele, kept trying to DM a bunch of people that were friends of friends and didn't actually try and learn how to market off products. It's one thing to just talk about a product that you have. Yeah, I get that. But like to consistently try and track people down, make lists, follow them, find them. Like that is a lot of effort and something I have been saying a lot more frequently now. Whatever they have to offer is that magical, that great. Everyone needs to get their hands on it. You should be able to market it off to where people are wanting to come to you. People are looking for it. And I think it goes the same even for like social media accounts, for example. You need to be able to have it to where you figure out who you are and be able to have it to where people are like, I want to watch this person more. I want to follow this person. You need to be able to master that kind of stuff and learn it. And if you can't, nothing's really going to do too well, honestly. And so same goes for this. And that's exactly why this is so odd to me, when their whole focus and biggest part of their workday essentially is trying to hunt down people and find connected people. You should be able to do well to where that comes to you, if anything.
Which was for follow-up method for potentials. How do you guys go about it?
We definitely like flat out ask the question. I don't know who came up with it, but there's this language that just really works super well. That's like, I don't know, or like, I don't know if you saw the last message that I posted, but I'm the queen of like reading something and forgetting to reply. This is something that I really want to share with you, but like basically let me know either way. Like, I don't want to waste your time or mine. And most people respond to that message in some capacity. They're either going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, like I read it and I totally like got busy and did something else. Or they're going to be like, you know what?
We actually do a first of the month hype up call every single month at the beginning on the first, to go over any incentives, any new things that are coming, promos going that are happening, incentives for subscriptions. We do that often. And that call kind of just sets the tone for the whole month. And we always do that on the first, if not the second. And then we do a mid-month call to check in and make sure that everyone is still hyped up for the month. And that kind of helps things pick up.
Okay. Comment down below what you guys think about this. But for me, I'm just ridiculously self-sufficient in this way. But I don't know, like, I don't understand why you need one every month. And a part of me sitting here thinking, like, I'm trying to understand this, but a part of me sitting here thinking, if you need once a month hype calls to make sure everyone's on board with this still, I don't think that the business is that great then. Because if you literally have to keep essentially forcing the energy, I've got news for you.
Up during that like mid-month slump that people tend to feel, we have that call to get everyone super hyped up again and ready to take on the rest of the month, and that really helps. And then we actually set up a different kind of chat for something specific each month. So this month we actually had a Builder Pro executive chat where we gave people like specific, exclusive trainings for the people that are in that chat that are going towards Builder Pro executive. And last month we had a social media branding chat where we gave everyone specific tasks to work on towards branding their Instagram, and everyone loved that. So we do little things like that to get everyone involved. And then we actually do team workout challenges with specific products that are coming. We had some with the, the tea. We had a bunch of different ones. Whenever new things are coming, we're like, okay, let's put this into some kind of workout challenge. And then we do team events to build community. So we have like our Christmas dinner coming up. We do networking events, so that we can just have that community. And that really helps to keep people like, the team focused and working together all month. So those are some things. The next question. So what are some things that you guys do to keep your momentum going throughout the month?
Yeah, that was so good. I know that, we need to implement some of those things. So thanks for sharing. I think for us, shouting out the little wins month long, I know everyone wants to kind of feel valued and well, I don't even know the word. Everyone wants to feel valued. And so being able to be like, hey, so-and-so got their first customer, so-and-so got their first ambassador, make sure that they feel celebrated. So also getting them tuned into different opportunity calls and team trainings, trying to develop those leaders and seeing where they're at. We have really started pushing individual team calls. So even if you have like 2 people on your team, starting to kind of get together weekly. I love the overall team calls like that you guys do at the beginning and at the middle of the month, but then having something that they can connect with and start leading their own little team has been super beneficial. And then really just getting down to the nitty gritty. So as the leaders on the team kind of know like, hey, we want to be helping our newest people, obviously with specifically like invites and follow-ups to all of those things. And I think just making sure that like our newest people feel confident in that and that they feel confident in like plugging into our like group chats and everything. And that really helps them stay active and keep on running. And then we also just started something recently called a Run to Bronze chat, and it's for executives in elite specifically going for bronze. And so we have different corporate staff members or top leaders speaking in those just to kind of help them establish some leadership skills as they're going for that bronze rank. So that's kind of what we've been doing. I don't know, Mel, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, just a few things. So I got the chance to get on like a more private call with Jake Spencer for one of our elite retreats that we did. And one of the things that he said that really stuck with me was that people aren't loyal to companies, they're loyal to their friends. And so I think part of what keeps you going is making sure that you're developing a culture and of like friendship and deeper relationships.
You also know who will do that too? Cults. Anyways, no, seriously, I get the concept of like, okay, I'm not completely attached to the company, I'm attached to people. That's why we see people like not attached to the MLM, and the MLM doesn't matter sometimes. They will just move with their uplines if somebody, let's say, decides to jump ship and go to a different MLM. That's exactly why the culture of keeping everyone together, talking all the time, discussing things consistently, having scheduled calls to make sure people don't lose that belief. It is all tight knit together to make sure everyone stays consistent on the same page, because clearly my thing is the amount of focus on this topic shows how unstable it is, mind you, and also how anything can happen and the belief disappears very quickly.
Relationships on your team, because when you do say, okay, this is the month I'm running for bronze or I'm running for silver, like those people are going to be so much more fired up to want to run with you and get you there than if it's just like, hey, our company's doing something big this month. The other thing that we do is like really help people get into personal momentum, because we have company momentum, we have team momentum, but sometimes they just don't know where to start. So we've done the challenge groups too. We've also done like jackpot groups. So like if you have a customer, for every customer that gets in, we'll throw $10 into the jackpot at the end of the 30 days. Somebody's going to win that jackpot. We've also done like creating urgency. So I'll sometimes pick people on my team and just be like, okay, it's your week. Your next 3 customers are going to get their shipping reimbursed, but they have to do it by Friday. And just like give them a reason to start talking to people.
So good. Okay. Next one, how do you guys find and attract leaders? Is it like mostly via social media? Do you do reach outs? Yeah, specifically leaders.
Right. Hi guys, my name is Gabby. Okay, so when it comes to finding leaders, I think the first step is to show up as that leader. So like how many days a week would that leader show up? Like what would that leader look confident, or would that leader look scared or shy? Like what do you think how do you think that leader will act in that if they were here? Because what they see you doing, like if they're attracted, they're like, man, this girl is on here every day. She's so confident. She's so unapologetic. Like she is running, she is hungry. They're going to be attracted to you. But if that leader is hungry and they're looking at someone that's posting sporadically once a week, that they can't really feel like, okay, I'm going to join with this person and they're going to take my hand and run with me, they're not going to want to sign up with that person. They're going to be attracted to that person that's showing up like that. So number one, like really think like, how would that leader show up? I need to start showing up as that kind of leader. Number two.
Okay, so I want to pause this here. I think inherently, and again, if someone has a different perspective, comment down below. I think inherently a lot of the biggest leaders in MLMs are extroverts. And the reason why I say that is the automatic extrovert mentality and I think that is a way that some people will naturally grow in MLMs more, not saying this is promise, but more, because if you are more of an extrovert, if you have more I don't give a fuck energy, right? You are going to do whatever you need to do to make things happen. And so I feel like those are some of the types of people that will run with everything and will make things happen, or are the ones that recruit the most, because they are so go, 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 go. They're not scared of being out loud about it. They're very outgoing with absolutely everything. The problem is not everyone's like that. And so I don't like how they're like, well, if you want leaders, you have to act like this, or you have to function this way. That's literally not like that in the real world. When it comes to if you want sales and you sell, like, I don't know, perfumes, you don't need to be this crazy extrovert salesperson. You can still make that shit rock and do well, and you can have a successful business. You don't need to also be an introvert when it comes to other jobs as well. All people can work out in many different jobs. Some might be more favorable to certain people depending on personalities, but this, I feel like there's such a hyper focus of developing people into these powerhouses of go, go, go all the time. And it's so odd to me because, like, for example, you never really see a more shy and quiet and reserved person usually as a top leader. And I feel like if they were a shy and like more reserved person, I think this kind of displays how the MLM will literally change you, because it will make you become something that you're not even used to. And you become something not because you want to, but because the MLM is needing you. And just like she's saying right now, well, if you want a leader, how would they behave? You need to act like that. That's changing you to become something that you aren't even exactly, so that way someone else will see it and be like, oh, I will be into you. Whereas instead, you should learn how to have a business, be yourself, and have everything grow at the same time. Because I think in the real world, that's where a lot of good success would lie, is having the wonderful coexistence of you being able to allow your own branding, you and everything in between, and then learning how to run a business.
I think it's to talk about the things that you feel would make the most difference for that leader. So I remember when we first started, I was like, I am coming, like I am going out to everything and everyone, like I'm going to scream from the rooftops why this is so different. And even before one of my best friends, Rachel, signed up, like my content that week that she signed up, like I was so all over the things that make you different. Like we have set pay. That's attractive to a leader because they want to know that they have financial control. Rachel said she got me. I also cover like not depending on people to hit a rate for you to hit a rate. Why? Because I knew that I was so frustrated in my previous company because I couldn't rank up if certain people weren't at a certain rank. So I know that that's important to a leader looking for a better opportunity. Placements, that's something that Q has that other companies don't. So talking about placements and the opportunity not to receive the placements, but to be able to contribute your placements to the people coming onto your team. A true leader is in it to help others. It's not even about themselves or the money that they can make. How much money could they help other people make? That's what sets it apart. So when you're talking about here, you have the opportunity to help your ambassadors with placements. If they're coming in and you're building in that leg, they're going to be like, wow, I can make such a bigger impact at Q than I could currently do here. And I think that that's one of the things that did it for Rachel, that she was like, I'm going to be able to help so many people. I'm going to go here, right? So I feel like talking about those key differences, our financial freedom movement, no other company has that. They'll give you a car. A lot of people get into more debt because of the car program. And here we have a company that's giving us a financial advisor for free that's going to help us with financial literacy. A leader is looking for something like that, not looking for a place where they're going to get into another program where they're going to be in more debt.
She's not wrong about that. Absolutely acknowledges Qsciences. To me, it screams pyramid scheme, but at the same time, it looks exceptionally enticing. It looks like a better version of many MLMs I've seen before. I have seen the talk and conversations about having more financial literacy, yes, but I feel like the setup is very recruitment dependent. Again, two things can exist at the same time, and absolutely there's many different features that I usually don't see in MLMs that Qsciences does offer 100%, but again, a lot of times with MLMs, when we see a lot of really great pros, there's a lot of really shitty cons that come with it, and so I don't feel like Qsciences is stable at all. Is it growing right now? 100%. I think it's going to blow up more in the next couple of years or so because of all of the hype around it and because there are some unique features, but it's still not a safe one to join. Again, the numbers are not really going to just drastically change per MLM. They're going to be pretty consistent with that. She is talking about, though, how to essentially talk to a potential leader, like what you need to tell them. And that's the problem is it's always airing out the positives. And if you're not being fully transparent with someone and you get once inside of the MLM, then it feels like that they've been lied to essentially.
For a place where they're going to get into another program where they're going to be in more debt. They're going to be like, wow, long term, tunnel vision, like here it is, the big picture, my finances, and this company cares. And just figuring out what other things really impacted you and made you want to come here that would probably attract another person that wants to make that same kind of impact. Okay. And then the other question was if I mostly attract leaders through social media, and if I do reach out. So I 100% do reach out. So I'm not gonna lie to you. When I started doing them, they were really scary because I was like, oh my God, one, I don't want to cross recruit. And two, like, this is kind of nerve wracking. I'm talking to somebody that like, you know, they're like over here. But I feel like when you're really confident in what Q has to offer, you could speak to anybody. And so an example of like a reach out message, I just recently reached out to somebody that has been in this industry for like, I don't even know, I think it's probably like 8 years. She was
Can I just say, the game of cross recruiting in the MLM industry is so insane, and I swear it has picked up so much more recently, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's like a season, and after a certain amount of time, every couple of years, there's just a mass exodus of a shit ton of teams hopping around, and then it goes quiet for a bit, and then it switches again. I've never seen this many teams MLM hop so fast. I don't know what, I mean, like literally going from Qsciences, going to all Bella Grace, all these different types of MLMs. People are just jumping around so quickly, and I'm like, oh my God, maybe it's because I'm seeing more MLMs, but the amount of MLM hopping is absolutely nuts in my opinion. But the fact that we have to actually physically say, oh yeah, I kind of want to avoid cross recruiting, but they still do it anyway, is just nuts to me. And then continuously trying to message people and be like, come over here, nothing is stable, because if they're teaching this and saying, hey, I mean, I message people who have been in the industry for years and trying to get them over, that means that is so unstable for the people that are above that said leader that this girl's trying to recruit, or below. This is severely unstable. This is not normal. Also, I'm popping up the chart one more time. This is again a high focus on recruitment and getting more people into the system. Clearly the conversation is really mainly focused on that right now, which is again a big red flag in my opinion. Like, we have multiple flags so far on this chart of characteristics of a pyramid scheme and just one call. Love it.
My mentors in my first company, it's been 7 years since we worked together, but she is the most loyal person still working that business. She was like crown diamond kind of thing, right? And she's still there. And I was like, I keep seeing her stories pop up every day. Like, I'm going to kick myself in the butt if I don't do this. Ask my friends. I was like, guys, I've recorded this like 17 times. I'm going to throw up. But I literally was like, okay, here goes. I would be like, one, you want to make sure the person you're talking to, you've established a relationship with them. I do not cold message leaders. I build relationships with people because I want them to know, like, I'm not really here to like just recruit you. I'm here to show you that if you come here, this is what you can gain from this. So
I'm not here to recruit you. I'm here to tell you why you need to join my fucking pyramid scheme. Please. It's the same thing. If it smells like a foot, looks like a foot, tastes like a foot, it's probably a fucking foot. What are we doing with these weird analogies that don't even make sense?
Because they're going to be like, man, she's being genuine. She's scared and she's saying it. Like, I get it. So this is so scary, but I just keep seeing your stories pop up, and I can't stop thinking about, you know, what you could be doing here at Q. Like, you are one of the most consistent.
Okay. You know that you know that Spider-Man meme where they're like, you know what I'm talking about? Is that how these top leaders feel when they try and recruit each other? They're like, you taught me this tactic. No, you taught me this tactic. No, you're trying to recruit me, and you're saying, I've been thinking about you. You haven't been really thinking about me, have you, Bethany? You just want me to, like, how, like, do they not acknowledge the fact that they're following the same strategies that they literally both know as top leaders? How is nobody embarrassed by that?
Disciplined leaders that I've ever known. And I don't want to step on any toes. Like, I've honestly gone back and forth because I don't want to step on any toes. But if you're even 1% open to getting your eyes on this, I really think it would be worth it. If not, it's totally okay. But are you open to hearing me out on this? And they could be like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about this. Or they could be like, honestly, I really appreciate you thinking about me, but I'm really happy where I'm at. That's okay. Guess what? You have planted a seed. And the day that that person, anything happens in their life where they're like, oh my God, I keep seeing her post about this. Let me just ask, guess what?
Please, this is so embarrassing because we literally just got through talking about belief, having the calls, making sure that everyone's on the same page, making sure everyone's tight knit and close. And then they're literally infiltrating somebody else's MLM and team essentially, and getting them over and breaking that belief and system to get someone to join them. What kind of sisterhood is this? I know they'd be pissed. I know damn well they'd be pissed if someone decided to do the same thing that this girl's doing and say, hey, so-and-so, you should come over to my MLM. It's better than Qsciences, you know? And they'd be mad if she left because they'd be like, she failed, she quit, she lost the belief, and she just decided to quit on us. But they're encouraging the same thing.
You're going to ask the person that had the courage to reach out, and that's the same person that is showing up as that leader. So you have established trust, you've been transparent, you were brave enough to reach out, and now you have a potential leader that might just start their business with you. But if they don't, it's okay. But if they do, girl, when Rachel messaged me and said, you know, I just, oh my God, you already know, I've been thinking about what? Think about, let's chat right now. What are you thinking about? So just being confident in what you have to offer and showing up as that leader, and obviously taking action, because you could wish and pray all day, but if you don't reach out, you will never know. And if you reach out, what's the worst that could happen? You lose nothing. So those are kind of like, my little 2 cents on that. And then my question to you guys would be, what strategies do you have in place on a daily or weekly term in regards to a guideline for their newest members to follow? Behind the scenes things you do for your team to help them win.
Yeah. So that was so good. First of all, definitely going to need to take notes on that messaging. I love it. But kind of walking through our launch process and everything, this is something that I feel like super confident with our team now. But it starts there, obviously, with all of our new people. And so when someone gets started, we send them this welcome text that has that milkshake link for the Q Collective. I'm sure you guys have something like that. And then that has a recorded launch call and the document that Britt recorded and kind of put in place and everything. And so we don't just stop at the recording. I know you hear all the top leaders being like, don't like launch by recording. We've just found that it works really well. It's like a 20-minute call, and they can kind of go through the nitty-gritty on that launch document. But then we get them plugged into our team resources and then have a working launch in the next 24 to 48 hours after they sign up, to really get them into action. And so instead of focusing on like all the systems and what that launch call that Britt goes over in that 20 minutes, we're really able to get into their why and start getting them into action. So it just has allowed us to have better timing, I guess. We schedule 2 to 3 info calls for that week. And then we send them that 7-day checklist that I know Claudia created and just launched after our call to make sure that they're going through that and set up for success there. And then for me, I kind of am checking in with them daily. If they are like really wanting to run in this business, scheduling weekly calls to kind of chat follow-up, social media, all the things. So that is something that the launch process that we found really works. Most important thing is that we are helping them invite and follow up, navigate whatever avenue that they are wanting to take for this business, whether that be social media, helping them navigate their bio and reels and all that fun stuff, or going to different local businesses. We have a few resources for approaching local businesses, whether that's like a CrossFit or their local healthy food store, whatever.
Trying to go to a local CrossFit or a gym or anything for that matter. I know Qsciences is about health and wellness. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would be pissed if I was in my gym. I'm not in those yet. Well, I do other stuff. But if I was in a gym, busting my ever-loving booty off, and I hear someone wanting to pitch an MLM, don't do that. That is not normal. Also, why are we encouraging people to just randomly walk into buildings and try and pitch something?
That have really been working for some of our team. And then of course, the Road to Bronze chat for helping develop your executives and elites and really focusing and honing in on those leaders. So we've kind of, been focusing on that. I think that answered all of it. Yeah, hopefully. Okay, for you guys, I think our last one, how do you help your people find long-term vision behind the scene things that you guys do for your team to kind of help them win?
All right. Hello, guys. So I'm excited to talk about this just because this is a huge, huge deal. But kind of one thing that I found that really helps with that long-term vision is, one, we don't set any false expectations. So with everyone coming into the business, we really like to work with everyone at their own pace. And this helps a lot because once they can see that, for example, they don't come into the business and we're like, all right, we're running for silver today, right? I kind of like to sit down and be like, hey, what is your goal? What is your goal here? What is your why? What is your reason of doing this? And this helps a lot because if their first goal, maybe they've never done this before, their first goal is builder and that's what they're willing to work towards. When they hit builder first, that allows them to see what's possible, and it allows them to see that it's possible to hit pro and then executive and so forth, versus making those huge goals that they might not be ready for, and having them lose that long-term vision right there when they maybe feel like they didn't reach that super big scary goal that maybe that wasn't their pace.
That's smart. Okay. That is a very good way of keeping someone interested, is trying to start with, okay, if you have a small goal, let's try and hit that. And then you can look at what's possible. Because if there's a, like, for example, I think, again, the MLM high conversation that we had earlier, there's a lot more that's connected to that. So for example, you might have more of a false belief that this is going to work out for you, because if you're in a new MLM, right, a lot of people encourage, go to your warm market first. Friends, family, mom, dad, great grandma, all that kind of shit, right? Try and promote products to them. And because a decent amount of them may buy from you, that's a decent amount of sales and everything. Somebody might join you even. So you have this, oh God, this is actually working for me. Oh my God, yay. And then once we touch the cold market, it gets harder. A lot of other people that don't have an emotional connection to you like that, it's not going as well. And so it gives the belief at first that this is going well, and then it doesn't anymore. And so like, just like this, I feel like that is participating in the MLM beginning and high, because when they think, oh, this little bit was possible, I got this so far, maybe, yeah, it is realistic for me to have this goal making $1,000 a month, or even $2,000 a month, whatever the case may be, extra for this MLM. This is, smart, shitty, but smart.
They wanted to run at, right? So as for behind the scenes, mindset is a really, really big deal on our team. So every single Monday, we actually host Mindset Monday calls to help us understand different mindset, like concepts, and help.
And I ask, how much of mindset can you talk about? Like, and I'm seriously trying to understand this from an MLM standpoint. Of course, there could be different mindset and perspective topics about literally anything. About an MLM, how much mindset and how much of your mindset can you be talking about with an MLM? You know what I mean? Because a lot of it is like believing you can do this, believing that you can make a lot of money from this, staying consistent, don't give up, kind of sticks in a very specific circle.
Us kind of stay disciplined, because a lot of the times we're never going to feel motivated, and it's very important to understand that about ourselves so that we can stay disciplined. Aside from that, we also started implementing Monday through Friday, what we call the Miracle Morning. So this is an amazing book. If you guys don't have this book, you're not reading it, go on Amazon right now, get this book. But it basically establishes a morning routine, and morning routines are huge. And it's a morning routine where we can go over affirmations, we can say.
This is such a lie. And this is something I've learned the hard way, because the entire time I was like, I need to have a morning routine. Otherwise I am not productive. I need to wake up at 6. I need to do all these things. Blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. Okay. No, you don't. If there are so many different people, there's so many different types of people and things that they experience, that it sometimes routines are a must, and sometimes routines don't work. I'm going to tell you right now, literally, I promise you right now, majority of the time, I don't always stick to the same type of strict routine. Do I have things that are consistent? My coffee is consistent. Oh, I never miss that. But the over hyper focus of you need a morning routine, you need to have all this together, otherwise you are not doing good, and this is really important for your success. That's a lie.
In silence, first 10 minutes, prayers, meditation, and it's just kind of like visualizing yourself, affirmations, and getting yourself in that peak state before you even start your day. And that is going to shift a lot, right? You need to see yourself. Like, mindset has a lot to do with that long-term vision, because whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, but you need to see yourself there, and you need to believe in yourself first before you can do it, and even feel like being disciplined is worth it, right? If your mindset isn't there, chances are you don't have that long-term vision. And if you don't have a long-term vision, then chances are you probably feel like you're putting in all this work, but for what, right? You don't have that end goal. So I feel like the way I see it is like, what's it called? Short-term. Well, I'll go over this now, but before we even get there, the next thing that we do behind the scenes is strategy calls. I like to implement strategy calls where I'll get on a one-on-one 15 to 20 minutes, right, with some people that I know are going for their goals. They're active, they have their auto shits on, they're ready to run. And I kind of help build a relationship with them, because that is super important. Understand their goals and what they're working towards. And then from there, I just give them some tips. Hey, let's focus on this. You know, social media wise, what are you trying to attract? Let's focus on this. Reach outs. How many reach outs are you doing? How many people are you engaging with? So I'll get on that call to kind of understand where they're at, and from there really work with them one-on-one to help get them there. And my biggest advice is basically to work on those small goals constantly with them, because that's what builds the long-term goals. It's like short-term sacrifices for long-term rewards is the mindset that we have. So we set the expectation with our team that this isn't going to be easy, nor does anything worth having come easy or without sacrifices, but we help them understand that those sacrifices that we're making right now will reward us long term. And
okay, but that's actually not realistic then, because if you're saying, well, these sacrifices that I do now will work long term, that's false. That's a false promise. That's not realistic at all. That's false income claims essentially, because you're saying it will pay off in the end. It's one thing, for example, to say, if I consistently work out and if I do all these things, if I eat the proper amount of calories and food, if I lift the weights, if I do all of that, I'm going to see improvement with my body. If you follow the proper stuff, then if you keep up with it, yes, it's going to pay off. You will see those results. When it comes to this, literally the numbers say that that's not going to happen most of the time. Even the top leaders, guys, don't forget, even the top leaders we have seen royally get screwed, because even if they put all the time and effort, they dedicate their lives to it, it still didn't even work out. So I'm just going to cut this out right here because I think that is definitely enough. This was the last question. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you guys think about this topic, some of the discussions and questions that they had in here, and I will see my angels in the next video. Bye.